All right, guys, welcome. I'm the Bearded Redneck. This is an introduction to F.O.C. This is the first video of a video series that we're putting together. It's going to explain all the phenomenons and all the stereotypes that people have with F.O.C. and either why they use it or why they don't like it. We're going to try to nip all of that in the bud because we want to try to figure out if it's the best application for us. So basically, F.O.C., what does it mean? This is Big Hoss from Ethics Archery here. He's going to explain it to us firsthand. He deals with this every day. What in the world does F.O.C. mean?
Well, it stands for forward of center. And we're going to explain in this series where that lies within the actual arrow build. And we're going to tell you guys, or at least give you some instruction on where to start from start to finish on building the best setup for you, your bow, and the way you hold, the way you shoot, and what's going to be the most efficient. We're looking for penetration, potential, and efficacy on the animal.
All right, so basically with F.O.C., we can see we got an arrow here. We got a broadhead, we got an arrow, we got a knock. That's what I know. We're going to go through this, and I tried to do some of these testing, and maybe you guys have done it yourself. I tried to take an F.O.C. arrow that worked for somebody else's application and shoot it with the arrow that I'm used to shooting in the last 30 years being a bow hunter, and my lighter arrow won. I shot it into a foam target, but I didn't have apples to apples, and that's where the setup needs to be. You need to look at it for apples to apples and what the situation is you're going about, because I'm not shooting foam, I'm shooting a live critter, and I want to be the best sportsman I can be, because unfortunately, everybody knows if you are a hunter, things happen. We're human. Mistakes happen. We make bad shots. You know, things happen out there, and if we can take the time to do something with our setup, know our setup better, and make it more optimum for our shooting application with our weapon of choice and the way in our technique, we're going to be able to overcome some of those obstacles. If we hit a spine or a shoulder or some of that stuff, we're going to be able to have a better chance of, most importantly, putting that animal down humanely, but also recovering that animal and that trophy, and being able to continue to do what we love in an ethical way through our heritage, hunting and being a sportsman. So basically, here's an arrow, and F.O.C. goes to this. Where in the world do we begin, Hoss? Where do we start with this? I know nothing.
We're going to start by understanding the arrow. We have to understand all the different components, like Robert explained here just a few seconds ago. We have components, broadheads, fletchings, arrow shaft, and knock. They all have to work as a system. We're going to teach you exactly how to get that to work as a system for you.
In order to do that, where do I begin? Because I just went to an archery shop and I'd say I need arrows cut to this length. This is how many pounds I shoot. I don't even know where to begin. How do I come about this arrow?
Well, we're going to go through a testing process. And we get this testing process, and we're actually going to take a little bit of a chapter from another YouTube channel called Ranch Fairy. Troy Fowler, the Ranch Fairy, he's actually been doing this for quite a while, and he's come up with a system that seems to click with the general public. Makes it very easy to follow, and we're going to start by choosing two different spines of shafts and adding weight with factory components on the front, and then we're going to utilize heavy field points. We're going to keep building that up until your arrow is going to show you exactly what wants to be shot out of your bow. It's just going to tune. It's going to bullet hole perfect. It's going to fly perfect, and when it hits, it's going to be square on the target. It's going to look like a laser beam, and that's what you're looking for. We're going to show you guys how to utilize the equipment and let the bow tell you what you need to shoot.
I need to shoot critters.
We all want
that's
the ultimate goal for sure.
Critters.
That is the ultimate goal for sure. But in order to do that ethically and efficiently, we need to have that perfect system. And that perfect system is comprised of the proper arrow build for your setup. And it's not just the bow, it's for the shooter as well, because you might have two people that have the exact same draw length, the same poundage, the same arrow build, out of the same exact make and model bow. Everything's identical, but one arrow is going to shoot better for the one shooter than the next. And we're going to show you why that's important.
All right, so now that I understand the arrow, what do I do next?
Now we begin the testing process.
All right, guys, so let's see if I got this. I know that my arrow has a broadhead, a component, a shaft, fletchings, and a knock. So now that I know these components here, what do I need to do next?
Well, now we're going to break down the arrow shaft, understanding what the different things on the label mean, right? There's numbers on the arrow shaft, like 340, 400. This is spine. We're gonna explain that, and where you need to be within that spine chart, where you can have a reference point. Once we have the understanding of the arrow shaft, then we're going to get into breaking down how to do the test. Then we're going to get into tuning, bare shaft, paper tuning, and then we're going to get into reverse engineering that test arrow for your final build in the field. These are going to be some upcoming videos that we're going to break down in detail so it's easy to follow, and hopefully we can get some replies back from you guys and answer any questions during that video, and you'll be able to respond there, and we can kind of keep up with you and try to just help you guys build the best possible setup for you.
All right, guys, I know this might be a lot to take in right now. I just want you to remember I'm shooting a standard arrow setup, and if I don't believe in this at the end of it, I'm going back to a standard arrow setup. I'm going to go what's best to me, and I know some of these words, they're confusing me. Maybe you're a lot smarter than me and can understand them, but it's going to be made in simple bearded redneck terms so this guy can understand it. So it'll be simplified for this guy to be able to see if F.O.C is the best for me. Welcome to the videos, and we'll see you at the next video. You guys have a good one.